thanks a million for doing this, first of all.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking the time out. This has been one of my longest running chases, where I think
It has
we
been a while, dude.
it was I meant to look up beforehand, but I make it like 8 months of like from yeah, sure, I'll jump on, and then like randomly like reminding, and then oh shit, I forgot, and then like like it's been back and forth a good bit. So it's great to have you on. Um, we actually met at the games in 2019. You were there with Invictus, I think. You were doing like a lifting seminar, or like a class or whatever. They had that,
Yeah.
remember, in the age group area they had like a setup in there with
Oh, yeah, yeah. Where I was just kind of coaching and running the workout there.
yeah. I actually bumped into you when you were walking in, so I didn't do the class. I think I couldn't get into that one or something, but yeah, no, it's cool. It's we'll get into it later on, but I think you're someone that I'd qualify as being like attainable is the wrong word, but like, so, someone that's at the who's achieved a lot, but has achieved it from like a Joe Soap level starting point. Like where it's like you came into the sport kind of like late-ish, and like you'd obviously done other stuff beforehand. But I think it's a cool. I hate using the word journey, but it's a cool journey for other people to watch and think like, oh shit, maybe I could actually maybe do a bit of what he's done. Um, but we'll start off nice and easy. So, are you drinking coffee now?
No, so I actually I had a really weird sleep last night. This is just water. And then I realized it was 1 minute before noon. I was like, dang it, I don't have time to make coffee. So I actually didn't make any because I didn't want to make you wait too much longer. But normally, yes, normally I have 2 to 4 cups a day of coffee.
And are you like picky?
It's yes, I'm picky in that I do not want it to, no sweetener, no, I just want black coffee.
Yeah.
So picky in that way. But in terms of like whether it's hot, iced, if it's espresso, like I'll pretty much drink anything. I do prefer iced for the most part, like a lot of iced coffee.
Mhm.
But lately I've just been doing just regular hot coffee in the morning. So, um, but yeah, I don't. I've drank coffee for a long, long time. It's the best.
Yeah. Um, have you got a like a coffee memory then, like something where, coffee was maybe on the periphery of something where you were, or someone you were with, or like an experience you had, and that just kind of happened to have coffee somewhere around the general vicinity?
I'm not sure. I think I just associate it with a lot of things in my life. Like when I wake up and when I'm so normally now, I'll wake up. Sometimes I get a workout in, and then it's time to sit down at the computer and start working. Whether it's critiquing videos for my online program, or whether it's programming or emails or whatever. It's like I'm always doing it with drinking coffee along the way, and then right from there, I'll make another one, whatever that rolls into. As I go to my garage gym and work out, I'm always rolling out there with coffee, so it's like
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's my pre-workout, but it's always kind of just what I've worked and slowly drink throughout the day. And I've done a lot better job the last year, where now when I make a cup of coffee, between every cup of coffee, I make sure I have a full cup of water.
Yeah, that's the killer, where you kind of forget, and then you're like,
Yeah.
God, why do I feel so weird? And it's like, oh shit, I haven't drank just water in like 2 days.
Yeah. And then I'll like, well, especially the days I would have like 3 or 4, like if I have a longer work day, I'll just drink that for a while. And by like, 5 or 6 p.m., I feel dehydrated. My
Yeah.
mouth's like kind of feels different. It's just not ideal. So I'm like, all right, just make sure you kind of drink up slower and get some water in there.
Yeah, it's like you put up with the water, and then the carrot, the stick is the water, and the carrot is the coffee at the end.
Exactly.
um,
Exactly. What
I
kind
was
of
looking
coffee?
you up.
What's your
Sorry.
favorite kind of coffee in terms of do you do espresso? Do you do regular
Yeah,
coffee,
I
ice?
have a Sage barista. I think you call it Breville. I think this Breville is the US version of the Sage. Sean Sweeney has the same machine. I don't know if you follow him,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it's just a simple, like there's a grinder in it, and you can froth milk, but it takes like 15 minutes compared to, like the one of my friends got a proper like cafe standard coffee machine, and he was like heating the milk one day and turned it off, and in my head I was like, oh shit, there must be something wrong with it, but it was done. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, in the morning I have, so I'm actually really sneaky. where in the morning I'll have a flat white, so it's just like a double shot with a bit of foam milk or whatever. But I'll always like accidentally on purpose make slightly too much milk so that I'm able to have um like a macchiato after, which is like a double shot of espresso with like a drop of milk. So I'll just be like, oh, there's just a small bit of milk left over. I don't want to waste it. I better have another double shot. So like that's my daily routine. And then in the afternoons, then I teach. So I'll usually have a double shot in a flat white, a double shot in a macchiato. I'll bring a quadruple shot in with milk, like with foam milk or whatever, to kind of sip on during the morning in school. And then when I come home, I'll have just an Americano. So like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 12 shots a day. But I always stop at like 4. And well, I don't think it adversely affects me. It did for a while where I was like, I'd be having a coffee at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening like a fucking idiot. And then I'd be like, well, I wonder why I'm not sleeping right.
Yeah.
I kind of kicked that. So now like 3, 4 o'clock is my cutoff.
Yeah, I remember my first time. I was in, well, the first time I was in the UK, I was in London area. I was drinking some coffee, but I wasn't as, that's maybe 2015. I wasn't as like crazy about it. But the last time, so like at the airport, right when we got there, or when I got there, they kept giving me espresso. And I'm like, God, I just want more. I like, that isn't enough liquid. I'm used to the giant thing of Starbucks, iced coffee that's like, 26 ounces or whatever the heck it ends up being. So it's like, yeah, I'll get that. And then a few of the places were just authentic and like they wouldn't do Americanos. And I'm like, dude, that shot is just so small. I want to carry it around and drink it for, an hour or two. Where the second time when I went to, Italy with the Invictus team there, that time around, I was like, all right, just try it. Just like quit asking for the Americano, just like try just their stuff. Yeah, just submit, dude. Like, and I loved it. So since then, that was right after the games in 2018. Since then, I've kind of went back and forth between just regular espresso and coffee. But
yeah, no, I think like there's a lot to be said for it, where there's obviously I don't know, did you listen to I don't know, do you watch Matt Fraser's YouTube? But he was talking about it on his like espresso setup, and like he made some really good points of like you can change so much by changing one little thing when you're making coffee. Like you can change the flavor by, with milk, without milk is totally different. With hot milk, without hot milk is totally different. And then like even just how you manipulate the coffee itself can change it. So I think like you got so many variables that you could even go to the same coffee shop 2 days in a row and it wouldn't be the same as it was the day before, because they might have a different bean or a different roaster or different whatever. So I think there's like so many different flavor combinations and different things they can do that you can never really get bored of it, like, because if you just get sick of one bean, try another one, and it's like, it's better than water in that sense.
Yeah, there is definitely. I wouldn't say I'm far down the road in terms of that. And I just have like real cheap espresso machines, and I just make the regular coffee on the stove with I don't even know what kind of thing you call.
Oh, is it like a steel pot?
Yeah,
like a kind of a
weird. Yep, shape. Exactly. I don't remember what those are called though.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
that makes pretty strong coffee as well. So
yes, it does. So that's what I've learned too. That was the first time. Yeah, the first time, and it was. But I think it was from the espresso that really made me like the strong stuff, So like normally I don't know if I would like that taste of coffee that much, because I'd kind of be used to the Starbucks watered down iced coffee type stuff. But yeah, I've been enjoying that, so that's been good. But I'm definitely not. I think as time's going on, I'm learning more and more about it, where I might want to get invest into a machine and actually get something nice. But usually I haven't really paid attention that much, because when I lived in town, honestly, most days I just go get Starbucks.
Yeah. Are you building a house, or did you build a house, or am I missing?
Nope. So I moved into a house out here. It's just maybe 20, 30 minutes outside of town. It's probably 30 minutes from the middle part of town. So it's out in the forest.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not, I didn't build a house. I just bought a house out here.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Are you still, is your kind of home golf course, is that still on the cards?
It is still on the cards. prior to all this snow, I was talking about it with a couple friends pretty heavy because there isn't much I have to do. Because I have just over 5 acres out here, and there's some natural openings in the trees because it is just in the middle of the forest. So just huge trees. But then there's some openings where I can make like some smaller holes. There's some par threes. And I'm not, because it's whatever, it's just grass and it's forest land. It's like, I don't need to make nice fairway.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put a little turf for the, for where you're teeing off from. And then I'm just going to make the green with turf because the forest grass it doesn't stay nice enough, like in order to where you could cut it nicely and make a green from. So I think you'd have to put some turf on there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I was looking you up, so I didn't realize how many sports you had done. I knew you did wrestling when you were younger. And I knew you did weightlifting and then CrossFit, obviously, but I didn't realize you'd done like strongman and powerlifting in between as well. Like, you've obviously got like a competitive drive. Is that like instilled from growing up, or are you like a black sheep in that respect?
Yeah, I would say it's from growing up because I don't know. From when I can remember, I enjoyed competing or trying to beat somebody at something. And maybe it's from like where it first stemmed from was probably I had a brother that was 3 years older than me.
Okay.
So like no matter what it was, I was never better than him at because I was 3 years younger. So he's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster. And even like when we graduated stuff, he was actually bigger, stronger, and faster. He was a big dude, really athletic, but I didn't care. I'm like, oh, I'm still going to take him down. I still want to outbench him. I still want to outrun him. When I'm a senior, I'm going to do better than when he was a senior. And like just being in the house, no matter what it was, I always wanted to compete. Or like, a lot of the farm work we did growing up. I grew up in Iowa, just real town, farm type area, country type area. I mean, so we would, pick rock, bale hay, detassel, walk beans. I mean, any kind of farm thing that you can do, we did. But like a couple of the friends that I had, we would go pick rock out of fields. And I remember it looking back because when I go back and visit that area, the owners of the farms always tell us, you were the only kids that used to race each other to the rocks. So like normally, because like, oh shit, we got to pick rock. We're not excited, it's whatever. And like, you just wanted to get, you go get that rock, I'll go get that one. But like a lot of times just messing around, but also for fun, like we would race to the rock.
Yeah.
And not just race to the rock, but you can do whatever the heck you want on the way, stick out a foot, push them, do whatever. So like I just competed at everything, even if it was work. Obviously I was getting paid for that, but I enjoyed competing. I also did golf. I did football in high school. And prior to that, did track and basketball. Anything that I could try to beat somebody at and be beat at, and see results from. If they work harder than me, they're probably going to win. If I work harder, maybe I didn't win, but I got better and that felt good. So I think just that, I think my whole life I've been addicted to competing because it keeps me true. Like it keeps me really true to what kind of lifestyle am I living? Am I lying to myself? It keeps me in good balance of when I feel good as a person.
Yeah. There's no better sport to compete at if you want to really find out who you are than CrossFit. Was it your wife that diverted you into that, or were you like, did you kind of, I've heard you talk about before and I kind of got the impression you kind of not fought it a little bit, but you kind of resisted completely immersing yourself into it until kind of later on, I guess.
Yeah. So I had always planned on doing CrossFit. I just thought it would be later than when I did it. So like I actually got CrossFit certified in 2010. That was my senior year of college. And I had no intentions of doing it at that time. So I just did weightlifting from 2010 to 2015. And for about a year out from the Olympics, it is a year out from the Olympics, you have to have made 2 international teams to be eligible to make the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I hadn't made any. So it was mid or late 2015 in September. The Olympics are in August, usually. So it was August, mid-August, late August. I'm like, God, I don't know what the heck. that sucks. Okay, it is what it is. What are you going to do? And I was like, well, I was going to wait till 2016 to try CrossFit, but we might as well just freaking do it now. So I always kind of knew I would do it. It wasn't like any big pushing from anybody at all. I knew I just thought it would be after 2016, but things didn't work out perfect. And I just wanted to get started on it. So I just jumped all in. And, throughout all those years, I was doing weightlifting seminars in CrossFit gyms all the time, so like, and I went to the 2014 and the 2015 CrossFit games to watch, actually 14, 15, 16, 17, and then competed in 18 and then went and watched in 19. But so I was a fan of it. I would watch it. I was helping coach actually a couple, some different athletes, just not officially, but over just in their weightlifting technique here and there. We'd send an Instagram message and like, just little things like that. And I was making a lot of content for social. So I felt involved in the CrossFit community, even though I really hadn't CrossFitted at all.
Yeah. You made it to regionals twice before the year you punched your ticket. Like, so the year that you went, like, what are your prevailing memories of that? I'm assuming that like fifth in the total and second in the clean ladder are like, difficult to surpass when it comes to like, oh fuck, that really happened.
Yeah, no, those were fun events. I mean, the clean and jerk was way cooler than the total.
Yeah.
Like the total was fun. I mean, anything where I'm lifting heavy, I have fun. And it's like, oh, if you get for me, a top 10 at the game, I'm like, dude, of course that was a fun event. But the total was it was on the big field. There was a lot of us there's a lot of us at one time out there. It was just different. Where the clean and jerk was a lot sexier inside the Coliseum there. You know what I mean? Like where that was kind of fun and you had heats and you're running through it. But yeah, the clean and jerk one especially was a lot of fun. And also because ever since I did the strongman mainly back in 2007 to 2010, I'd been a weightlifter. I had not done like deadlift, even when I was a strongman, was always my weakest. Squatting was always pretty solid, but not always the best. And anything pressing, I love. Like if it was a bench press, I think I would have had a better chance at being like top 2 probably if it was like a bench, because I've always been able to bench pretty well. But the strict press, I just never do it. I hate the strict press. It's like one of the, I think it's out of what would you call that? It's out of spite, because a lot of the questions I get from weightlifters in terms of like, oh, how do I increase my jerk or my overhead strength? Do I need to do more pressing? And I'm like, no, God, no. They're like strict pressing. I'm like, no, I would love if you wanted to push press, bench press, work on jerks, do actual heavy pressing. But in terms of like strict pressing to increase your jerk, you're talking apples and oranges here, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So I think over the years, because I've had that question so many times, I'm like, I never want to be seen caught like strict pressing. Like it's stupid, it's a fine accessory. I'm not saying never do it. It's just like, it's the primary idea in terms of increasing your jerk. I don't think it's the best, but anyway, kind of went down a little different little rant there.
After the games, like it's obviously, so like, if you're someone that really wants to compete and has always had that drive to compete, and then like, was at regionals, say 3 times, made it to the games, like had your game season. Like I've talked to people in the past who maybe, after their first year at the games, it's like it almost kind of like breezed past them and they kind of weren't, fully, I guess, sentient when it was happening. Like they weren't like taking everything in and giving their best, and it was kind of just like, oh wow, it's great to be here. Like when your game season finished that year, was there any kind of like anticlimactic feeling or any kind of like, I don't know, like crisis of conscience or identity or anything like that after it was over?
I don't think so. I took about a week off. I actually, probably 2 days after the games, I was like, oh, I want to train today. Like I wanted to. And my coach was like, no, you're not getting in the gym. Just relax, take a week. So like right away, I felt motivated. I felt like I wanted to get back after it. And, so I took the week off, and after the week off, I knew that soon not because of how 2018 ended or not because whatever. I was happy with my performance at the games. I gave my best. The placement I got, 30 whatever, was exactly what I deserved. Like, I gave it my best. I was happy with it.
Yeah.
It was more so I knew within a week of it finishing that I wanted to take 2019 off from competing. Because I only think, looking back, my mindset was I was a full-time athlete for pretty much my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, whether even in high school, college, in high school with wrestling and 2-a-days, and college, and then weightlifting 2-a-days, and CrossFit it was just over a decade plus of that was the only thing I cared about, like, in my general daily life. So I wanted to, after making the games, there's a lot more opportunities that come, but I was like, oh, I kind of want to buy a house, and I want to buy a truck, and I want to take care of some of this midlife stuff that, I want to do. And I just kind of want to live a year, kind of just a normal, 30-year-old dude or whatever it was at the time. And, yeah, so I don't remember feeling like it was anticlimactic or like any kind of identity type thing. I just remember feeling like, let me take a year to kind of get everything, I don't know, just to live a different kind of life for a year, and then see if I want to compete again. And then 2020 came around. Still didn't compete. 2021, still haven't competed. So we'll see. I do think I want to compete again, but step one lately for me, I've just been getting my body weight down, just getting healthy again, just working out regularly. So that's been good for me. Got a lot of the stuff I wanted to get done in terms of my personal life. So that's been good. And yeah, so I think we're on the right track.
And is it hard though, like, because, okay, if we go back to, we'll say 2018, like September 2018, we'll say, or 2018, when the games is over, and you decide, like, okay, I think I might take the year. Is that a difficult decision to come to? Because I guess obviously it comes with risks of, like, even if the worries aren't necessarily factual, or if they're a bit irrational, there still is that thing of, like, shit, what if I give up my seat at the table and I can't get it back? Like, what if I stop and then, like, slip too far in order to come back? Or were you so, like, did you have so much conviction in your decision of, like, no, fuck it, I've had enough now for a little while, I need to reset? Like, was it like a difficult decision to land at?
Yeah, it was definitely it was a difficult decision in that, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. And but it wasn't a difficult decision for me to make, if that makes, like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's a hard decision to make, but it wasn't hard for me to make it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just the where I was at mentally at the time. Because at the time I competed at the games in August, late July, early August of 2018. I had been doing cardio again for less than 3 years. So, like, I started CrossFit in September of 2015. And by August of 2018, I was competing at the games. So in less than 3 years, I was competing at the games. Well, from 2007 to 2010, I did strongman, and I was 300 pounds. And then from 2010 to 2015, I did weightlifting. So, and no cardio, of course, in either one of those. So, like, for almost a decade there of most of my 20s, I hadn't done any conditioning. So, like, I was happy. I was like, okay, but I'm still brand new. Like, I'm still new to conditioning compared to all these other athletes. Like, that decade I spent lifting weights heavy all the time. These guys have been conditioning. They've been running, they've been swimming. And it was an ongoing joke, because I don't care. I wouldn't get into arguments, whatever, but I'd post a heavy snatch or clean and jerk or something to my Instagram, and I'd get a comment like, dude, quit lifting heavy so much. You need to get running. You need to work on your conditioning. And I'm like, you have no clue, dude. Like, you don't think that's what like, my coaches and I literally assess 24/7 is like what I actually need to do. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't argue or whatever. And I'd be like, oh, cool. Like, I don't tell them that every single time I lift heavy, it's actually on Instagram, and that's really like, is not very often. And also that my entire day is conditioning, and at the end of the day, it takes years to develop that kind of conditioning. So, yeah, I mean, looking back, it's like, God, maybe gonna do it for another year with that conditioning, another year. but I knew that at the time. I knew, I was like, God, am I going to regret it in a couple of years if I give up this 3-year base that I've kind of built? And I didn't feel like I would, at that time. I didn't feel like I would. I had some other things I wanted to do. And yeah, you just make decisions and you roll with them,
Do you regret it now?
No, I don't regret. I don't regret it now. The only thing I do regret is throughout the last couple years that I wasn't committed to like still training consistently. Even if I wasn't competing, just for maintenance, just not, just like having a better fitness lifestyle in general. That's the only thing I do regret, but I'm doing good now. So
if your game season was a 100%, like 100% adherence, 100% effort, 100% commitment, like where were you, we'll say 2019, what percentage, 2020, what percentage?
Oh man.
Like 40 or like less?
Oh, way less.
Oh, really?
Way less. Yes. I just didn't care.
Do you think that's
low?
kind of
I don't know. I mean, I've never
when you
thought
have
about
a
it like
dog
that.
on a leash and like you won't let them go, and like you were that dog on the leash for like 10 years, and then suddenly you're free to do whatever the fuck you want and eat whatever you want, like lie in, not get up, not move, not whatever, like keep your steps low, like just do whatever the fuck you want for as long as you decide you want to do it. Is that kind of what happened? Like was it like the wheels came off kind of because it was like fuck it, like I don't know anybody anything?
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know for an exact percentage, but it'd be under 10% for the first question. But I think maybe that was part of it. I don't know. I just, it wasn't until the last probably 6 months that like I realized I need to compete, because the last couple of years, just kind of like doing whatever hasn't worked, in terms of like, I was happier when I was competing than I have been in the last couple of years, because when I don't have a goal, a focus, like I can't personally just go exercise. Like I can on some days, if even if I'm training for the games, I could still just be like, hey, let's just go on a little hour hike or 45-minute easy hike for fun. But I also need to know that when I go to the gym, I'm training for something and to compete in something. So that's just something like in the last 6 months, I realized that like, that's kind of what I do it for. That's what I enjoy, is that challenge, that build up to something, win or lose, that build up, that it keeps me accountable, that type of thing. Where when I haven't had that the last couple of years, I would go in spurts where I would work out for 3-4 days in a row, but then I'd be so sore and whatever. I'm like, whatever. It'd be Thursday of the week or whatever. Be like, I'll just start over again Monday. When then Monday comes and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. So like, I mean, I went multiple times 3-4 weeks where I wouldn't work out at all. I just wasn't even interested, whatever. So yeah, I mean, that's why I said the only thing I regret is that I didn't force myself to have a lifestyle where at least I was working out 3-4 days a week, doing something just to move, just to feel good. Cause I do always enjoy moving my body and whatever. But it is, I mean, like, I don't know. It's like I've had a last couple months, I've been back training really well again, really consistently. And I don't know, I feel like you just, you learn from things you do, choices you make, and you just try to do better because of those. So can't say I regret that like too much.
Yeah.
It's just now in the last 2 months after doing it and working out consistently again, it's like, yeah, I feel a heck of a lot better now that I've been doing this again than when I just wasn't doing anything,
Well, I guess it's that like absence makes the mind grow fonder. So if you're doing something all the time and you always have it, you can never miss it. Whereas maybe that break is something that, okay, it might have pushed you back a little bit. And like, by the sounds of it, like from the way you're talking, it sounds like maybe your mood wasn't that good some days. And, it was I think it's something that is very relatable for a lot of people as well, especially over the last, like, 8 to 10 months or 12 months or whatever with COVID, where like, it's like, I know I found it really hard when the assault bike is in the kitchen and you're walking past it and you're like, oh, fuck, I should really get on it and do something. But it's like, oh, the fridge is right there and am I bothered? Like, and then it's like, I'm not going to see anyone anyway. Like, I can't go anywhere. So what's the point? Like, and I think a lot of people have been through those days where, you might go to bed thinking like, right, tomorrow is the day where I really fucking kick my ass into gear and get going. And then before you know it, tomorrow passes by and it's like, oh fuck, I should have started yesterday. Okay, like tomorrow, and it just keeps happening and it snowballs. And I think like what you're saying there, a lot of people will be able to relate to, because I think it's so common, and I think it's so common for so many people, but it's not common to hear someone who's, been at the pinnacle of so many different sports to be able to relate to that feeling. Like, and I think if nothing else, I think it might even stand to you as a coach where like, what other people, the mindset that other people can slip into without realizing that they're doing it.
Yeah. And that's what, yeah, it's good. It's a vicious cycle. You tell yourself, you rationalize different ways, and it's easy to fall into your same patterns, no matter what those are, whether good or bad. Most of us are creatures of habit, whether we know it or not, myself included in a lot of ways, where, yeah, I mean, you tell yourself, yeah, the assault bike's right there. I know I should do this, or, oh, I'm going to skip my accessory work from the programming, but I'll do it tonight, or I'll
Yeah.
do it tomorrow after training. You never
I'll
freaking do
stretch
it.
watching TV is probably the most
Yes.
skipped out of one.
Yeah. And it's like, you keep telling yourself, I mean, how often when you tell yourself that, have you actually done it?
Yeah.
And it's just, and that's just knowing, for me, it's knowing my tendencies and where I tend to want out or tend to look for something easier, or when do I want to go out to eat or get fast food? When do I want to skip a workout? Like in what scenarios, right? And just being aware of them, so you could just set up your day and your life to not have those scenarios, that type of thing. So that's just little things that I've always kind of learned in terms of, when do I like to work? When do I like to train? When do I like, but it's never perfect, it's always evolving. And, but yeah, it is a vicious cycle. And I don't know, in that way, in a lot of ways, I didn't respond right away earlier, but yeah, like in a lot of ways, that's why I always tell people, like, yeah, I'm just a regular dude in terms of like, I have those same battles as everybody else with all of that stuff, like my body weight's been way up and way down and way up and way down. And yeah, I did make the games and, to try to do some cool athletic stuff here and there. But like, I think I like, just talking about some of that stuff because people can relate to that. And, I haven't been perfect through a lot of those aspects of my career, but that's why I said you just try to learn from them and try not to let some of it happen again. And other stuff, yeah, let's try to run that back. So some of it was pretty fun and some good times. But
like, you're alluding to it there, and I think like one of the things that endeared you, I know, like to me, and I'm sure to others as well, was your transformation from like, you mentioned there your strongman years and then weightlifting and into CrossFit, and I think it's something that made it seem like realistic and attainable maybe for other people, like okay, maybe not to make the games, but like to transform themselves through like activity and changes in CrossFit and stuff. And like you've been pretty open on social media, especially in the last 6 months. You've kind of, I guess, shared like flashes of like, okay, I need to sort this out now, and like, I'm gonna, I guess, keep myself accountable by sharing it with you guys, whether it's through YouTube or through like, the question box and stuff on Instagram. So like, is it something that you mentioned that it's been maybe a little bit stop start the last little while for you? Like, is that something that you like, do you ever regret saying on Instagram like, okay, right, here we go, let's get going, and then like, do you have regrets then about sharing that with people, or is it something that keeps the fire burning even if it maybe smolders a little bit and then ignites again?
yeah, I definitely don't regret like posting any of that or saying any of that. Because I mean, at the end of the, like, everybody knows the journey. Like, not every, I guess, shouldn't say everybody knows the journey, but people can relate to um, wanting to be held accountable. Just being like, hey, hey, let's just go along this journey together. I'm going to post my stuff, and it's kind of funny. I have been, but in an indirect way now for about 2 months, been sharing my workouts and my different meals and stuff. I haven't been posting the training videos or anything, but it's like I've been training now for a good couple months. So I have been doing it, but just in a different way than what I kind of initially planned. My initial plan was like share training vlogs and, do a video in the garage gym and do this and that. And I did some of them and it was fine. I just found at that time I wasn't enjoying that. It was fine posting them and a lot of people enjoyed them. But I just wanted to get out there and start working. Like, I literally just wanted to walk outside, walk straight to the garage gym and jump on the treadmill or jump on the assault bike. Like, I don't know. I just in the last couple months, I wasn't in a position and haven't been and still don't feel it where I'm like, oh, I want to like talk and between every set. And, there's a lot that goes into some of those training vlogs and stuff, which is fine and they're fun. And I'm sure I'll do them at some point. But just right now, I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep kind of slowly trying to keep losing weight and getting back into it. And, because you just reach a point, at least this is where I always am. I just reach a point where it's like, it's not even a number on the scale. It's more so just when you look in the mirror, it's like there's a maximum level of like disgust where you're like, okay, that's enough. Like, oh, holy crap, that's enough. We got to lose some dang weight. But then like there's a certain image of yourself when you look in the mirror that's like, I'm not happy with it, but whatever. That's not enough to make you change it. There's like a good, there's a medium, there's a high medium, and then there's like oh heck no, like this, you know what I mean? Like, and that's where people I think who have had weight issues or even just body image issues, it doesn't even have to be weight issues, to probably struggle or maybe would agree with that. And just it was probably a couple months ago. I mean, I've been there several times where it's just like, I'll go down, I'll come up a little bit, I'll go down, I'll come up. Like I kind of yo-yo a little bit back and forth. But a couple months ago, I was like, dude, all right, for real this time, like just start working out again. Like, and I always eat pretty decent. It's just the lack of activity usually for me. So I'm like, all right, just start working out hard again, start working out hard again. So we've been doing that and body weight's been coming down. So it's been good.
Yeah. Do you obviously you're somebody that likes I know you like your own company as well, but you're somebody that enjoys like going around and meeting, at seminars or like coaching and stuff like that. Do you regret missing, I guess, that opportunity for the sanctional season when there was that year where there was like so many opportunities to compete in different countries and different cities and stuff? Is that something that like, were you kind of watching that enviously from a non-competing standpoint?
Yes. That year in particular, I thought was awesome from an athlete's perspective, because you could choose any place in the world. Like I actually at the time was talking to Egypt and I think South Africa. Both I was like emailing with both of them and they were talking about what it would take to get me out there and all this and that. But they're like, oh, competition's like in 4 months. And I was like, oh, like, wait a second. I'm not going to go out there and embarrass myself. Like, what the heck? So, but yeah, those were really cool. And that's why I say for the athlete, I thought it was awesome because I mean, you could peak at any time of year. You could do every frickin' sanctional you wanted to it would cost a lot of money in terms of traveling to all of them, but you have options. Like if you have a job or whatever and you can pay for it, you have options. And the only downside was because of that, the exact opposite was true in terms of media exposure and in terms of how many people were watching I can name so many years just watching regionals and I wasn't even CrossFitting where I could tell you, oh, the epic comeback Cole Sager made in the final event. He was in ninth, and then he was in seventh. And then, oh, did you see this guy win this workout in the final to jump this guy or this girl? Like, and those 5 people from almost every region, I can name them. I mean, because I remember the final event. I remember them crushing a chipper, a lifting event. There was so much media and build up to that regional, right? Where with the sanctionals, there was none. Where I remember talking to a friend about it. There had been 5 sanctionals that year. And I told him I could name one winner, one male, one female. And I believe it was from Dubai. And I think Matt. And I was like, wait, did Tia compete? I actually couldn't remember. That's like how little, the diehard CrossFitter, if I was actually competing, yes, I would have known. But I was just kind of a general fan, subscribe to Morning Chalk Up. I have everybody on Instagram that I know, and all these companies as well, that I follow and that I see. Like I'm, even though I wasn't competing, I was pretty plugged in still. And I was like, I really can't tell you over 1, maybe 2 people, I guess, who've won the first 5 sanctions. Like, and that's a problem. You know what I mean? Where, so I did like it from an athlete's perspective, from exposure, from that kind of for the athletes, it was definitely going to be a tough system for sure.
Yeah, I think like they seem to have found probably a bit stupid to say it now, but they seem to have found a good system now where they've got the best of both worlds, where they've got that, the old style regional thing where there's like that funneling system towards semifinals, and then the big show semifinals, and like that, media exposure build up and everything. And then the last chance is going to be like, it really seems like it's going to be like a holy fuck kind of event, like even if it is online this year. And then you've got the off season where there's these opportunities for events like Filthy Dubai and all those kind of places to still have that like community exposure for the different athletes, and the I guess the multiple earning opportunities. So I guess even now on your comeback trail, that's something that you can look forward to as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's even, I told one of the friends I've been training with, I said, my goal this year first is like, one of them, and I saw a few friends a couple of weeks ago, and they asked me to, what's your plans on competing, this and that? And I'm like, dude, my first goal is to compete in a local competition. Like I'm not even focused on, 2022 open or saying I want to make games, this and that. It's like, because I know how far away fitness wise that is. It's just not even, it doesn't motivate me right now. It just doesn't. But thinking about competing in a local competition, say in 6 months, that does, because it's sooner, number one. And number two, it's a lower barrier to entry in terms of like, if I go and I get second, I'm not going to be as upset if I go in the open and just completely bomb. And it's good, and it's a good step in the right direction of where I want to go. And if that's all I end up doing, and I'm happy just competing locally for fun here and there, that's fine too. But it's like that, I'm not a big picture guy. Like, it doesn't help me to think like that. It's like, no, just keep training hard, keep getting my body weight down, keep getting strong again, keep doing a lot of cardio, just keep doing the regular CrossFit stuff, and I'll be better. And then just see where, just to reassess every couple months. And, I'm sure in December of this year, I'll have a completely different answer. But as of right now, I'm like, no, I just want to kind of compete locally and have some fun, and then try to build up towards that again. But, who knows what that journey looks like. It's never linear, obviously.
Yeah.
So
I'm just imagining, like, I've been at competitions before doing, like scaled or intermediate or whatever, and you see someone, you're like, that guy should be fucking doing RX. Like, what's he doing? Like, this is bullshit. I'm just imagining someone at a local competition in Jared Enderton turns up for like a snatch event or something. It's like, oh, fuck.
yeah, that is true. And I've never cared. Like, I don't know. I did so many local meets when I weightlifted. I mean, I would do so many, there was never prize money in those either for weightlifting. I just liked doing them. They were fun. Like, I don't know, but in weightlifting, there was never money like at local meets. It wasn't for that. It was just, I like to go out, and if I wanted to max out anyway and have some fun and slam some bars, hey, might as well put some pressure on it, yeah, that would be pretty funny. I've done quite a few local meets, but honestly, as 17 and 18 came, I really didn't do many local meets at all, because you're just focused on open regionals, whatever.
Because you kind of get as well.
Yeah, you kind of get that feeling, where you're kind of like, I don't know if I, there's a $500 or a $200 prize purse over here. Do I go in their like competition that's kind of like in-house for their athletes, but kind of not? Like, yeah. So
do you enjoy like sharing? Because obviously you've got a big following on YouTube and on Instagram, and I know you do like Twitch and stuff as well. Like, do you enjoy sharing parts of yourself like with, I guess, your followers and your fans and stuff? Because I know like there's a lot of expectation, I think, especially within CrossFit, probably because it's so like comparatively to other sports, it's so small, like, and the athletes are so, like a lot of them are so everyday, and they're part of their local community, and they're like, I guess, attainable and accessible, and there's maybe an expectation to be like really accessible, like where, like you see comments and stuff, or athletes sharing screenshots of comments where people are getting pissed off that they're not replying to a message or not replying to a comment. And there's that, like, I guess, ease of access to people because it's a relatively small sport. Like, is it difficult being, like, on all the time?
Yes, it can be. It can be very difficult at times, where for me, it's not online though. Like, I don't find the Instagram, the Facebook, I don't find like keeping a persona whatever. Because I just feel like I'm just posting what I like to do. I'm posting my
Mm.
technique videos. I'm posting my workouts. I'm posting me snatching heavy and dancing. I mean, just ridiculous stuff, right? Like, but that's who I am. That's what I do on a regular basis. Is we're having a conversation, we're just chopping it up, BSing, getting a little story here, whatever. But it's like in general, I coach weightlifting all day. That's what I
Yeah.
do. When it becomes sometimes a little more difficult for me is actually in person, like at a seminar where you're doing a seminar and I'll be coaching weightlifting all day. And I'm like, hey, let's go out to eat. Whoever wants to go out to eat, let's go out to eat. And then I get out to eat, and you're just having a good time and it's whatever. And then the questions continue, and it's fine. It's like, okay, I know Jared is a CrossFitter and a weightlifter. Well, that's probably going to be the topic of discussion. So that then sometimes I'll be like, okay, yeah, you gotta stay on. Don't just it's not even letting your guard down, but it's like, you want to make sure that they feel good about you, that you have good energy, right? That's for me, that's what it is in terms of like at a seminar. I always want to make sure I have good energy. I'm never on my phone at a seminar. It's at dinner, I'm not on my phone. Like I want them to know I came there to help coach them that day. So that's when I guess it's difficult for me, is like at a seminar sometimes where it's like, I maybe want to check some Instagram. I want to check some socials and mess around and whatever, but I'm out to eat with them, or I'm like, no, I don't, I just want to be present with the people that, I'm spending the day with and have some fun. But in terms of like Instagram and all that stuff, no, because also I've also made it pretty, concerted effort, a pretty focused effort not to post my personal life to there.
Yeah.
Whether my relationships and things like that, I don't update. I don't post photos of me. Like I don't care to. It's just whoever your relationship with is, like, if I'm your close friend, I'm gonna know. But otherwise, and that's kind of what it is for me. If you're like people, if they're a close friend to me, they're gonna know what the situation is with different things. And if not, I just don't care to share it. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's fine whether people choose to share that or not.
Yeah. One thing you did share over the last while was your wife selling her affiliate. So it was like CrossFit Pandora's Box was, like, I guess, like built from the ground up, and then like you made the decision to sell, I guess, like 6 months ago or 7 months ago. Like, seemed to be, I remember seeing a video that she put out on, on one of those IGTV kind of videos. Like, what was it like going through that process of, like, I guess, coming to that decision, or supporting her through coming to that decision, I suppose, and then like actually going ahead with it?
Yeah. Yep. So she was my fiance. But yeah, so that was at the end of September. I bought her business partner out in 2015. So we were co-owners since 2015, but it was really her gym. Like,
Yeah.
she had owned it since 2010. So when I bought her business partner out, like, she was open 3 or 4 years before I even knew who she was. It was her gym. I did nothing with it. I just bought her business partner out to help. Like, didn't take any of the profit or anything. It was like, no, I'm just going to buy your business partner out, and then you run it, whatever. It's all good. And that process was definitely difficult. That was definitely difficult at the time. She really just felt, she just wanted out. Like, she enjoyed it for a long period of time of her life, and she just wanted to change. With it, was it COVID related? Maybe, in terms of the up and the down of membership and the closures, but there was already pre-built up feelings of maybe wanting to close it. Like, before COVID, she had brought it up before that, so it was just the cherry on top, like that. That was just kind of and then she's like, yeah, I really just want to get rid of it and just piece it all down. And so she was my fiance, and then we've actually been split up now for several months. So just wanted to make sure I wasn't like weird with that. So we've been split up for several months. We have a great relationship still friends. It's all good. We just decided to go our own ways there shortly after the gym closed as well. But yeah, that decision is not easy to come to, whether with us together. She spent a lot of nights crying. Even me, it was weird because I've only ever CrossFitted at CrossFit Pandora's Box.
Yeah.
Like, so now that's what's actually been the weirdest part for me, is thinking about what gym I want to go to that's in town.
Yeah.
Because I do have a home gym, but I also like people, and I work from home. I coach on my phone, videos, I do programming. I work from home. Most of my day is spent in this office right here. So like, I don't talk to a lot of, you know what I mean? I don't talk to a lot of people. So I'm like, yeah, I probably should like get out of the house and go see a human being or two. That'd be pretty cool. And
Yeah.
so I've been thinking about joining a few. I have multiple people from Pandora's Box at every gym
Yeah.
that I know. So, I know a lot of them would be just fine, but it's like, I know when I go to like sign up or whatever, it's going to be a little weird.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. I guess as you were saying, if you share stuff, I suppose that one of the trappings of only sharing stuff with close friends is that someone like me might not realize that some big life event is happening. Like, oh shit, I've just put my foot in my mouth. So
No, it's completely fine. It's completely fine. I should have given you a little heads up anyway, like on a message or something. But I'm, like I said, I'm fine talking about it too.
yeah,
It's a part of life, and I have nothing bad to say about her. Like, we just, timing wasn't great, and yeah, I don't think it's putting your foot in your mouth at all. Like, it's like I said, it's a part of life. And if a general person asked me maybe on an Instagram message, I might be like, I might not respond, just because, are
mind
you
your
guys
own
split
fucking
up?
business.
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, we're split up or whatever, but it's also like, well, you probably haven't seen a picture of a post of her in however long. Like, you
Yeah,
can keep wondering. I don't care if they know, that
yeah,
type of
yeah,
thing. But being able to address it, like, in an audio, and it's, in a format, it's like, I'm
yeah.
completely fine with it. Yeah.
You coach lifting with Invictus, and I guess other bodies as well. And you've had, you've got your own brand, and you've worked with countless different, either Olympic sports or other sports about strength training and Olympic lifting and stuff like that. What is it about coaching that I guess keeps bringing you back time and time again, or keeps you consistent with working at it?
Coaching, yeah, it's that's been one of the struggles actually of me getting back competing, is I enjoy coaching so much. Like, I thought I just coaching and just the life of just coaching, I'd be completely miserable. And while physically I haven't felt the best, and like, I'm like, oh, I do enjoy working out all the time. It's like, part of the reason I didn't care a lot was because I just like helping other people,
Mm.
at seminars and online. And it's the challenge, but it's also like, coaching is an art form in a lot of ways. And I love coaching the human body to move. And I don't know why. I always have. So like, one of the first sports I actually can remember for some odd reason me doing, and I still do it pretty regularly, is golf. And I never had a golf coach ever, but I remember being so young and bringing that club back, and then bringing it through, and I would hit it to the right. Well, then, okay, the next, you're walking to your ball to the next shot, and you're thinking, why did it go right? Oh, was my wrist here? Was my hips through too soon? Like, literally just self coaching, what did I feel and why did that happen? Next shot, try this then. And then a different result happens, right? So it's just these tiny little body movements. And then at the end of the day, you can know what to do, but it's getting your mind to actually get your body to listen, right? That's always the fun part about coaching athletes. It's like, okay, keep your chest up, keep your chest up, keep your chest up. And then 3 months later, you're like, dude, yeah, we still focused on the same thing. We got to keep the chest up. It's it's that mind body connection. It's hard. So I think that's just always what I've enjoyed. I love coaching people to move better, and seeing an athlete join Invictus weightlifting, or with my own company with Enderton Strength at seminars,
Mm.
and having them show up and seeing how they're moving at first, or seeing their start position is like a simplest thing, right? Just their start position. And I'm like, okay, there's like 4 or 5 things we can dial in right here, just in your start position, right? Like, that's a big deal, because that's the launch, that's the start, the foundation of your ability to produce power for the entire rest of the lift. So like, if you're not in a strong position to launch, of course you're not going to transfer your force very efficiently throughout the rest of the lift. There's going to be a dominoes effect of energy oozing out of your body. So like, just little things like that, where it's, that's that there's that many things in the start position. I know there's a lot of other things going on later. And I don't know, I've just always enjoyed trying to build to something, in my own life, in terms of my competitive, whatever, CrossFit, weightlifting over the years, wrestling, starting at point A and progressing to try to get to an end goal. And the same thing is coaching. I see an athlete move for the first time, and I'm like, okay, you can move so much better. But yeah, of course I don't say that at the first time. I'm like, oh, that sucked. You know,
Yeah, you're like laughing
I'm,
behind your
nice
hand.
with it. Yeah, like of course I'm nice with it. I'm like, it's all good. But my first thing I see is like, I see what's kind of maybe the issues are, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if we could fix these things, I can't wait to see what it looks like when they're actually keeping their chest up, when they're actually moving their feet. And then when they do that, I know sometimes that will cause other issues, so then we have to address those. So yeah, I think I'm addicted to the building of stuff,
Mm,
because that gives me fulfillment in my life, for
mm.
myself and when it's others.
Do you think you'd ever coach, like, say if someone came to you and was like, "Oh, Jared, I want to make the games. Like, I want," like, would you ever coach someone in that capacity, or would you just say like, "Oh, I'm comfortable coaching you weightlifting and strength, maybe, but I'm not comfortable like being an all-around coach like that"?
I just weightlifting.
Yeah,
I would help a games athlete, and I've helped some in terms of their weightlifting, but I don't know. I don't have the like with Invictus. I know they've been doing it for so long, and they
yeah,
have so many systems set up in place, and so many years and years and years of how much volume and how much intensity and what parts of the year to be doing what, and how to really help build an athlete endurance wise that struggles with it. So like I just think they're more. I mean, I know that they're more experienced. They've done it longer. They've helped hundreds and hundreds of thousands of athletes at this point make it to the games, win the games, that they would be better at it. And I also think because of that, they would enjoy it more.
yeah, yeah,
Where like I still, I've had over the years, I've had many people ask like, oh, you should release a CrossFit program. You should release a CrossFit program. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I could release one and maybe make more money off it. But the truth is, I love coaching weightlifting more.
yeah,
I love coaching weightlifting and doing CrossFit, and it's not about the money for me. Like I like that separation. I've always coached weightlifting. I think Invictus is the best at coaching CrossFit. Obviously, I'm biased, of course. Like I worked with Invictus, and they did a great job coaching me. There's other great programs out there, of course, but it's just like I like to keep things simple. I want to stick to what I know I really enjoy doing. Because even when we had Pandora's Box, I actually did not coach CrossFit.
yeah, yeah,
Like I would help people all the time. I would coach weightlifting on like Sunday mornings, and I would fill in to coach every so often. And if we were training in the afternoon, no matter who's in the gym, if I see him snatching and I see something, whatever, and I'm like just maybe warming up for my work, I'm gonna go over there and help them. So I did coach a lot, but not like like I wasn't coaching 3 classes a day or
yeah.
anything. But yeah, it's a really long answer to say I know I really enjoy coaching weightlifting, so I think I'll always kind of stick to that.
Yeah, that's cool. Look, we'll finish with a quick fire. So they're all either or. So assault bike or rower,
Assault bike,
deadlift or squat,
squat.
snatch or clean,
Ooh, snatch.
um, win the games and never compete again, or never win but always compete.
Win the games and never compete again.
100 thrusters for time or 100 calorie assault bike for time.
100 calorie assault bike for time.
Yeah, I think anyone that picks thrusters there is a psychopath. Like, you know, I'm not asking you to set a world record. I'm just asking you to do 100 calories on the assault bike.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all of those too. The snatch with the clean one's tough because right now, if you ask me, I would pick clean because it's way less warm up for me. Right now,
Yeah,
the snatch mobility wise is a way longer warm
yeah,
up.
yeah,
But in terms of like when I'm actually in general mobility in whatever shape, it's the snatch.
yeah. Golf or CrossFit?
Based on the last year or two, it would be golf. Long term, CrossFit.
What one tip would you give to somebody who's aiming to improve their weightlifting?
Consistency. You need to do it a lot more than how much you're doing it. Snatching one time a week or clean and jerking one time a week is not enough. When I was a full-time weightlifter, we did 2 a days. We would snatch and clean and jerk on both of them. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we would snatch and clean and jerk in the morning, and then in the afternoon, and then on, and we would squat in both of those, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday with just one a days, but we would power snatch, power clean and jerk, and still squat and still do other accessories. So we were snatching and clean and jerking 9+ times a week. And that's how I'm not saying you need to go to that extreme. Obviously, you're not a full-time weightlifter, you're doing CrossFit, but you need to see the movement more. Your body needs to see it more. You need to move more, because your body, it's going to learn the rhythm. The more times you swing a golf club, the more you're going to learn why it goes right, why it goes left. Like, it's in a simplest form. You need to do it more, because you're going to learn more. Like, repetition is the best teacher in that sense. Of course, get a good coach, all that good stuff. Like, there's many tips I could give. The most common thing I see is that athletes just don't snatch and clean and jerk enough to really see a lot of technical and strength progress from it.
Yeah. Well, listen, thanks a million. I'm thrilled to say it was worth the wait.
Yeah, sorry for making you wait so long.
Honestly, like, I'm glad you're as busy as you are, and I'm glad I enjoyed it as much as I did. It's been great to talk to you, and I hope whatever happens, whether it's local competition or state, national, international, whatever you plan on doing, I hope we see more of you. Because you're definitely a popular guy in the sport.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on too. I had a great time.